Today I'm back to share my next project that I'm making with the Cricut Maker Machine. So as I talked about in my last video, I'm going to be making a English paper piecing project. I don't really know what I'm going to do yet with the motif that I'm going to stitch up, but I'm really excited to cut out both the paper pieces and the fabric pieces with the Maker Machine. I think that's honestly one of the things that keeps me from doing more English paper piecing is I don't like cutting out the fabric, and you know, there are a lot of ready-made paper pieces out there, but if I want to make something unique and design the pattern myself, then I have to cut out the paper pieces by hand, and that's just, I don't know, this is a roadblock for me. So I'm really excited to be able to take advantage of this machine to do that. So I'm going to be using a fabric grip mat for cutting out the fabric along with the rotary blade. And then I'm also going to be using this light grip blue mat to cut out the cardstock, as well as the fine point blade, I think is what it's called. So let's go ahead and get the machine turned on. I'm going to cut the paper first and then cut the fabric. Okay. Oh, fabric in the way. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put in the blade that I'm going to use to cut the paper first. I'm opening up that little door, closing that. There we go. So now I can go ahead and turn the machine on. So it's doing its thing. I'm going to get some of this stuff out of our way. So we'll do that next. So I already have a piece of cardstock ready to go. I'm using an 11 by 11 piece of cardstock that I just had laying around. I'm going to go ahead and just get it lined up at 0, just like we did with the fabric in the last video. And that is now ready to go. And I can go into Design Space now and show you what I'm going to cut out. Okay, so I am in the Cricut Design Space, and I am going to cut my paper pieces for the English paper piecing project. So I'm going to start by starting a new project, and then I am going to upload my images, or my image that I want to use to cut my paper pieces. So I went to upload over on the sidebar here, and now I'm going to click Upload Image and browse. And I will have both of these images available to download on my website if you want to make this too. We're going to start off, like I said, with the paper one. Okay, it's asking me if I want to change the name. I'm going to leave the name the same. Go save. Okay, so now I've got my image uploaded. I'm going to click on that and click Insert Images. And there we go. Now it's on my canvas and it's ready for me to cut out my pieces. So I'm going to go make it. Okay, and then I want to cut out 24. Okay, so it's repeated all those for me. And my piece of paper is 11 by 11. Okay, so they're all going to fit. And I can go ahead and get cutting. Okay, so it found my device, and I'm just using cardstock that I have on hand. I'm going to err on the side of caution and say it's medium. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think it should work okay. Yep, I'm going to leave the pressure at the default. I've already got my fine point blade in there, and I am ready to cut. Okay, so now that we have our project all planned out, I've got my paper ready to go on my mat. I'm going to insert the mat. I'm pushing it up against these black rollers, and I'm going to let the machine pull the mat in. Well, it ran into my chair. That is one thing to keep in mind, is the mat does come out the back of the machine, so you definitely need to be careful about what you place back there. And then also where you put the machine, so you want to have enough room so that the mat can go all the way through. Okay, so now it's spread the mat and it is ready to cut. So I'm going to press this button. see how it does. This one's gonna take a while because I need 24. Wait a second, I think I need 30. Oops. Well, I'll just cut some more off camera. Oh, I think it's done. Okay, so now I'm gonna let it give me the mat back and we'll see how it did. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm gonna try bending it. Wow, seems like I did a pretty good job. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now I can, I don't know, let's try this one. Oh yeah, that's nice. Look at that. I don't know what this tool is called. It's just like a little, kind of looks like a little pancake flipper, honestly. Oops. I wasn't really sure how much I would use these tools, which I might have mentioned that in the last video, but I gotta say, they knew what they were doing. So far, the ones that I've used have worked out really nicely with the machine. Which, of course, they would know what would work well with it, but, you know, always skeptical. So you notice it is a little bit sticky, but I mean, they come off pretty easy, especially after I've used this little, I don't know, spatula. Okay, so there we go. Now I've got 24 paper pieces for my project. Like I said, I'll have to cut 6 more because I miscounted, but that's okay. And now we can go ahead and cut out our fabric. Okay, so now I'm ready to cut my fabric pieces. So I'm back in the Cricut design space and I am going to create another new project. And I am going to upload another image. So I'm going to go upload image. And this time I'm going to choose my fabric shape. And like I said, these files will be available for you to download on my website. So I'm going to leave the name the same. Go save. Okay, and then if I hover, yep, it'll show me this is the fabric one. And let's insert that on our canvas. Okay, there we go. So the only difference between these two images is the fabric one is a little bit larger because I added seam allowance. And you actually could make these right in Canvas. There is a diamond shape, but I just personally found it easier to do it in Illustrator. And like I said, these images are available for you to download, so you don't even have to worry about it. Okay, so now we've got it on here. Let's go ahead and go make it. So I am using 3 different fabrics, and the first one I need 12 pieces, and then I'll do 12 from another one and 6 from the third. So I cut my pieces, like about 8 by 12. Let's see if we're gonna be able to squeeze it. So I wanted to see if I could kind of cheat it and give it less fabric than it's asking for. So it's asking for 8.5 by 14, and I'm giving it 8 by 12, which, I mean, looking at this rendering, I feel like is going to be enough room. So we'll see what happens when we cut it. So we're going to go ahead and go continue. Okay, it found the machine. And we are cutting fabric, cotton. And I've already got my rotary blade in there, so I am ready to cut. Okay, so I've got my fabric mat that I'm going to use again. I'm going to lay out my fabric. And I'm going to hope I can trick it. The only thing that might trip me up is I am using a 12-inch mat, and I told it has 14 inches worth of cutting. So it might not like it. We'll find out. I'm guessing it's not going to like it. So I probably need to get out a bigger mat. Oh, okay. It seems okay. So let's see. So I guess just use your best judgment. I mean, I know that it has plenty of room to cut what I want it to cut. So I'm guessing that's why it's letting me get away with cutting it on a smaller piece of fabric and a smaller mat than I told it. Obviously, you just have to be careful that you're not making a mistake and it can't cut everything you need. But I'm guessing it would know, and then it would not let you do it. It's so mesmerizing to watch it. Okay, this will be the moment of truth down here. We'll see if it has enough room to cut that last row. I'm really hoping that it does. I don't want to, like, mess it up. Oh, I don't know. It's gonna be close. Oh my gosh, I think there was just enough room to squeeze that in there. Oh, I'm kind of nervous to pull it out. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like I squeezed by with a little bit less fabric than it probably would have wanted, but look at that, all 12. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut the other two fabrics. So I will show you that right now. Okay, so I'm all finished cutting out pieces for my next English paper piecing project. If you remember, the first thing that we cut out were the paper pieces out of cardstock. And then I went ahead and cut 3 different fabrics with the machine to use with my paper pieces. So let's see how they measure up. Okay, yeah, I think that's gonna be great. It's a great fit. I gave myself plenty of room, more than 1/4 of an inch, because I find that I'm not a very good English paper piecer, and by the time I get, as I'm folding my fabric around the paper piece, by the time I get to that last side, the seam is a little bit short, so just to give myself a little bit of extra room for error so that I still have nice, healthy seams. So I'm looking forward to spending some time stitching these up. Hopefully on the couch with some TV, yeah, looking forward also to just using this machine to cut out things that maybe I would normally have to hand cut, or I can definitely see opportunities to cut out pieces that have curves, or just things that aren't, squares and rectangles basically. And I mean, you could obviously cut those on it too, but I feel like where this is really going to shine for me personally is some of those projects where I might not have made it because of the cutting. This is gonna come in real handy, and I think it's gonna broaden my horizons for some of those projects. So I am going to leave a link in the post, and if you're watching on YouTube, it'll be in the description below to the Cricut website so that you can learn more about this machine. And again, a huge thank you to Cricut for sending it over and letting me play with it. And I hope that this was helpful and enjoyable for you. Thanks for watching. Bye.